Let's have a little bit of a fun Friday with some Transformers odds and ends. These are bits and pieces that don't deserve a full review on their own. Maybe a lot of people would do them as shorts, but I don't really find shorts that great. I prefer to kind of mash them all together in little snippets right here for you in one review. We're going to cover a custom Exo-suit 86 spike. We're going to cover a Soundwave eraser. We'll talk a little bit about Red Cog. We will touch on a couple of BotBots, and we will touch on some accessory storage for Star Raider Cannonball. All of that in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. Helps me out a ton, lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below, also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. So I said what we were gonna kind of cover here. These are little snippets. This is very short. This should be pretty quick because we've sort of reviewed all of this before. It's just a few thoughts, a couple of new things. You'll see when we head over to the table and take a closer look at it all. And yes, indeed, we're doing a few little odds and ends. Those of you who have been around the channel for a long time know that periodically I like to do these. Like I said in the intro, I know I could probably do these nowadays as shorts. I don't find shorts get much traction, to be honest with you. And I'm not one for little snippets and having to like time myself, I guess. I mean, to each their own. But we will cover all of these things, and I say we kick things off with a few comments about Red Cog first. And yes, indeed, here we have Red Cog in his box. This is courtesy of Dragonfly. I can't thank him enough. I looked at Red Cog in episode 1049 about 2 years ago, actually. February 3rd of 2023. So really close to, like, exactly 2 years. When I done that review, I said then, I would love to have another Red Cog. Largely for two reasons. The first being, I would like to have some doubles of these accessories, which I certainly now have. The second reason is because when I got Red Cog, and I know that by rights he should go with Grand Max, but when I got Red Cog, I said, hey, I'm going to put him with Fort Max, and Fort Max can have Cog and Red Cog. And I said then, ideally, I would almost like to have a second version of Red Cog so that it could sort of be Cog as like an actual independent conscious, sentient transformer, and then two drones being the two Red Cogs that he basically controls. Well, now I have that, and not only that, but luckily, if you take all the bits and pieces, you can give Fort Max his I guess hip cannons, I suppose we'll call it. And if you get creative with the base mode, and you can get creative with the base mode, now I have not one, not two, but three cogs by which I can add, you know, towers and blasters and spires and this and that, just to make it more of a base, more alive as a city. So, while I don't need to review this because we looked at it in episode 1049, and I will put a card or something up in the corner, I can say that I'm very thankful, very happy to have it, because I actually wanted a second one for a long, long time. And next we come to this bag. It was blind bagged, and when we take the bag out of the way, we have this. This, of course, is a little rubber, like eraser version of Soundwave, and it says it has movable arms and legs. Is it... Mystery Mini Walker is what it's called, but I think it's an eraser, honestly. Movable arms and legs. It says you can collect them all. The package shows Bumblebee, Optimus, Megatron, and Soundwave. It looks really like it's probably the Evergreen designs. It is definitely made of rubber, right? The arms, the legs, I mean, that's cute, right? It can go forward and stuff. The guy can stand up. I'm sure that you could probably use him to erase, like, pencil smudges and whatnot, but honestly, like, why would you? Why would you actually use this? This is just neat as it is. It's a little niche thing. Again, this is one of those that, like, I probably wouldn't pick it up myself, but it's kind of neat to have, and not for nothing. there's a ton of paint on this, honestly. Like, wow, look at the detailing. Obviously a transformation is 0. Articulation, the shoulders can go around, the legs can kick forward and back, and that's it. So 2, I guess. But look, like, come on, man, that's a 10 for Soundwave, right? Overall score is not going to be great, but who cares? All he has to do is look good and stand pretty. And here we have 2 BotBots courtesy of our buddy Maximal10. I told you that this was a hodgepodge of odds and ends. The little camera guy is Papa Click. The yellow video game machine, I suppose you would call it, is Old Cool, and they're both part of the Arcade Renegade surprise. So, I don't know. Just so we're clear, Papa Click was a mold that was used for other characters as well, such as S.A. Cheese. Yes, S.A. Cheese. You heard me. And Old Cool was also used for Steered Wrong and Out of Order. So, I mean, there are other versions of these. I mean, mold reuses happen everywhere, right? I guess we'll do kind of one at a time here real quick in terms of transformation. But for look, I guess, like, the camera looks fine. There's a lot of paint on it. The Old Cool video game console, I guess that looks fine. Again, there's quite a significant amount of paint on it. I mean, a couple of, like, creatures and a versus actually there on his screen that you can't really see. Some blue buttons, a red joystick. I'm not going into the details super hard on these because they're BotBots. So going here, basically we can take the arms out from behind our guy, flip that down, and I think his feet are up under. Yeah, flip that down and his feet are there. Those are there. And the actual screen, that flips up around. To become like, I guess, a cap on his head. The legs don't really do anything. The arms have little ball joints so they can go around. But he stands actually pretty well. So transformation is quite easy, intuitive. I guess, I don't know. It's a BotBot. It's not interesting for transformation, but it does do something. I guess we'll say an 8 for the transformation. I think the look is cool. I'm going to give it a 10 just cause. And the articulation, I mean, 2, because he has 2 arms that can go around and that's about it. I do kind of like the little visor on his face here. Oh no, he fell down. Then we can put him right here. And now our little camera lad here. I don't like this one as much. That comes out and can kind of come up around there for now. This extends, and that's the 2 legs. And then this comes over and down to become his other arm, and this just kind of flips around. And he has a monocle face, a little monocle eye, a la Shockwave, for example. Again, the transformation, I guess, is about an 8. It's pretty straightforward. I do wish that the legs extended more than they do. And I guess they kind of move a little bit. This over here is able to move a bit, but like it's just a... I mean, it's just a lens. It's not an arm. This is an arm, but it's pretty darn hollow. I don't know. Overall, it's hard to score BotBots. Overall, I'm going to say that these are like, you know, a 4. You know, they're a 4. I don't think it's anything that you need, but hey, if you're into BotBots, they're kind of cute. They're kind of neat. They're their own little niche thing, right? And now that brings us to these 2 lads. We have here what I have used as my Spike and Daniel. Spike is the 86 Exo-suit Spike with a painted on face. It is a shorter Exo-suit. I looked at that and reviewed it in episode 984 back in June of 2022. And I said then, man, it'd be nice to have a Daniel. But I've been using the MP Spike, although I think in Japan he was released as MP Daniel, along with Bumblebee. I looked at the MP version in episode 273, way back in 2017. Never really liked it. Was glad to have a Spike at the time that I used it as Spike, even though I thought the face looked very youthful and a lot more like Daniel. This is what I used, and it always kind of struck me weird that Daniel would have a taller, bigger exosuit than his dad. Well, thanks to our good buddy Dragonfly, I can take this guy out of it, and now, with a very youthful head, put this version of Daniel in. I love it. So happy to have this. Again, also painted by Dragonfly. I think that this is the Daniel head that came as part of a DNA design upgrade kit. I think. He would know better than me. But it is definitely youthful. They have two different heads, but they have the same exosuit, which is honestly exactly what I wanted. The articulation, the transformation, all of that is exactly the same for Spike and Daniel. The only difference now is that Daniel has a different head. And I guess not for nothing, I'm just going to move him over a little bit, and I'm going to move him over a little bit. I do think it's sort of neat that now I can have all three of my... Is he going to stand? Thought he was going to stand better than this. There you go. I do like now that I can have all three of my exosuit humans be really the same scale. Being Spike, Daniel, and, though he's not from the same continuity, I know, Noah Diaz. I think that this is neat that the exosuits line up with one another. And finally, here we have Cannonball. He's the gift that never stops giving. When I did the review of him, I was a bit disappointed because I thought it was the same issues as Crankcase. But somebody pointed out to me that no, in fact, his chest does lock in, which made it a whole lot better because his body is so much more solid. What an excellent, excellent idea to make the chest lock in. Then it was recently pointed out to me that though I store his hammer, I guess, and his hook on the back of his heels, because there are ports back there, that works fine. It gives him even maybe a little bit of a heel spur. Somebody pointed out to me, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. If you watch this, please let me know in the comments. And said, hey, you can take the hammer and you can take the claw and you can put it in the spaces in his legs. The hammer is a little bit looser than the claw, but both of them are pretty darn tight, to be honest with you. It fills in hollowness, which is really neat. For the claw to go in, you don't do this orientation with the claw like this. You got to turn it on the side, right? And then slide it in. The hammer, I put it in handle first, just so it looks like three solid blocks. But you know what? It's a little simple thing about the storage. I don't know if it's official or not, but I think it's really darn neat. So, there you go. We looked at a custom Daniel. We looked at extra storage. We looked at an eraser. We looked at a Red Cog and kind of where I think that's going to fit in. And even a couple of BotBots. And with that, I'm going to thank you, man, for sticking around for all of this. And what more can I say? I hope that you found something entertaining or at least of value that will help you enhance your own collection. And here we are once again. So the little Soundwave eraser, I just think it's neat. It's cute. I don't think I'll ever use it because it was a gift that was such a weird niche little thing. The Red Cog, so happy to have a second. I can remember when I got Cog and I got Red Cog, I said, man, it'd be nice to have a second one because there are certain accessories that I wanted to have two of, but more importantly, I wanted to be able to kind of have Cog be like a leader of two more drones, and now I can do that. Plus, when you do transform Titan's Return Fort Max to some sort of a base mode, I don't suggest turning them into the stock base mode. We all know that's kind of lame, but there's a lot of fan modes out there. With all of his ports and places to kind of stick things, you can have so many more towers and lasers and his hip cannons and everything else because of multiple cogs. Cog-eye? I don't know what the plural for cog would be really in this case. So having a second Red Cog, I'm real happy about it. Didn't need to review it, already did it. Then we have the couple of BotBots. I mean, they are what they are. I love old cool more than I like the camera lad, whatever his name was. I don't remember now. I think old cool, I guess, has the more functional robot, I'm gonna say, if there's such a thing as a more functional robot. Then we have the storage for Cannonball. I'm just looking down here to make sure I cover everything. Yeah, the storage for Cannonball, and I never thought of it. It's very tight fit putting it in the legs, I find. But I will say this, it does kind of take away the hollowness of the legs. So it's up to you if you want to put them there or on his heels or where. I don't know if it's official or if it's not official, but it's an option that you can do, especially if you don't like the hollowness of the lower legs. And finally, the Exo-suit Daniel. So I always used the MP as Daniel and the 86 as Spike. I always found it weird that Spike was shorter than Daniel. I also don't like the mold for the MP at all. I don't think it's very good. I like the 86 even though it gets a lot of flack. I mean, I like it for what it is. I can't believe that Dragonfly was able to pull off such a youthful head and be able to incorporate it in there the way he did. It very much does look like Spike and Daniel, and I'm glad that their exosuits are the same exosuits, as they should be. Plus, not for nothing, they look alright even next to Noah Diaz. My three little exosuit lads. Anyway, that's it for the odds and ends. I'm happy to have it, happy to do it. Hope you got something out of it that is, you know, entertaining or useful to you and your collection. I thank you for giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and don't forget, not for a moment, not for 1 second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.